is to be a BICSI member. Now, what is it to be a BICSI member? Why does it help to be a BICSI member? It's a multifold requirement. Number one, if you are a BICSI member, it creates a kind of confidence in BICSI that you abide by the BICSI way of working. That is, you are a generic kind of a person. You work on the design stage rather than at a product specific stage. It helps. Now, it's not necessary that you can't be an RCDD if you aren't a BICSI member. You can. So, even if you are not a BICSI member, you can still be an RCDD. You can give an exam. You can qualify for an exam. BICSI will allow you to sit for an exam. But the financials really make no sense, because if you aren't a member of BICSI, the examination cost, the application cost, everything shoots up to more than 100%. So if you are paying an X amount of money for exam application, you will be paying nearly 2 to 2.5x times of money for applying for an exam if you are not a BICSI member. So it really doesn't make any sense. So individuals who are looking out to be going in for certifications or looking out for some certificational examinations from BICSI, you need to be a BICSI member first. It counts. Number two, you need to get the BICSI RCDD prerequisites and pre-qualify. Now, what does it really mean? Is that BICSI tries to check what's your design knowledge, what's your integration knowledge, what is the kind of understanding that you have, what's the kind of experience that you have. Are you really the guy fit to be an RCDD? So all these are called as prerequisites. We would help you in getting those. There is nothing out of the world from here. But there are some BICSI RCDD prerequisites where you will have to pre-assess yourselves and you will have to pre-qualify. So that there is a kind of confidence which even comes into people who will be pre-qualifying for such particular requirements. And then you apply to BICSI for your RCDD exam qualification. Now that's a change that has happened in the last 2 years. Now earlier what used to happen is that it used to be a paper exam, a proctor based exam. So you used to apply for BICSI, and then whenever the exam used to get scheduled in that particular location, then the proctor used to conduct this exam. It used to be a paper based examination. Now all that has been completely stopped in the past 2 years. It is an online examination where you give it similar to how you give Cisco examinations. So it's done online in Pearson Education. However, you have to qualify for this exam. You can't just be, apply for a CCNA or something of this particular sort, take an approval from, anywhere and just start across. It doesn't happen that way. You have to do all the pre-qualifications with BICSI. You have to send all the documentary evidence of your qualification to BICSI. They might or might not, but generally they do verification with your verifiable contacts, whether what you are saying is correct or not. And then they send you a qualification code, which you will have to enter into your Pearson Education profile, and then you can select a date, so on and so forth. The rest is something which you can do it all by yourself. But then that application for RCD exam qualification needs to be done when you are applying for an exam. Fourth and the most important thing is to get the TDMM. Now, TDMM is the Telecommunications Distributions Methods Manual. Now, this is the Bible of your RCD examination, or I can say this is your Gita, Quran, Bible of all the examinations that you take in BICSI, especially the RCDD. Around the 2000 page manual. Don't get disheartened by the number of pages. The pages are very interesting, and nearly 400 of these pages are not meant to be read. They are for references. So in fact you are reading just 1400 pages, 1400 1500 pages a max of that particular manual, and the font size is larger. They have a good amount of space that is left in the font. So absolutely no need to worry about it. You can read the manual, and it's an interesting part. This is what we do as professionals. So I think all the guys who are there in this particular meeting, online meeting, many of us are industry professionals, and we anything and everything that's going to be there is something that we would have at least experienced or would have been there doing at some point of our life. So there might be a number of things where it would be a flashback for us, and it would be really enjoyable for us when we would be reading those things. So getting the TDMM is important, starting, and then the most important thing is to start reading the TDMM, because number of times my RCDD experience of more than 14 years and my teaching experience, that is only the RCDD teaching experience of more than 7 years, tells me that half of the people, once they get the TDMM, it's a big leap from getting the TDMM and starting to read the TDMM. It doesn't get automatic. It is you as an individual, you will have to read the TDMM. So we are so used to the Twitters and the WhatsApps today. There is no Twitter and WhatsApp over here. It is you and the book that is going to talk to each other. So it's very essential that you read the TDMM, and you at least read the TDMM at least twice. That is once before you start the real learning or the real training, and once as you are learning and training. So these are very important things which I feel are very prerequisite requirements of approaching the particular training. Now as we go ahead, let's understand what the TDMM is, what does it consist of, and because this will help us in understanding the training, the examination, and how we look at approaching this particular initiative that we have taken up. The exam, as I told you, is based on the BICSI TDMM, and around 80% of the questions that are in the exam come from the TDMM core chapters. Now there is a bifurcation in the manual. This will make you happy. I'm going to give you some message which is going to make you very happy. You have 21 chapters in the TDMM, and 11 of those, 12 of those 21 chapters, not 11, 12 of those 21 chapters are the core chapters. Now what do you mean by core chapters? Which BICSI feels are the core of ICT knowledge. So these are some things which you should be knowing about it. So that's very important. You should know what these chapters really are, what the content really is. And the rest of the 9 chapters are non-core chapters, which means, I'll put it in a simple sentence, 80% of the questions of the TDMM would be from these 12 chapters, while 20% of the questions would be from those 9 chapters. Happy? Now I'll tell you the other picture around it. 80% of these chapters take in nearly 75% of the page space. So even if they are core chapters, the chapters are big, the chapters are elaborate because they are important. So it's not like that if you do only these 12 chapters and try to approach the exam, you are going to clear the exam. It will not happen. So there is no way by which I am trying to tell you that the approach should be just stress on those 12 chapters, study hard, and out of those 80%, try to get those 70 to 74%, which is the passing percentage of BICSI. So that's not going to happen. So, but what I'm trying to tell you here is that there are 12 core chapter or core subject areas which are very important to be understood in the TDMM. And just to tell you what these chapters are all about, they would be on principles of transmission, electromagnetic compatibility, on your telecommunication spaces, about backbone, horizontals, fire stopping, bonding and grounding, power distribution, administration, field testing, data networks. These are going to be nearly your core chapters. That is something that's very essential as an ICT designer, integrator, or a project manager. You should be knowing about it. While the non-cores would be something like the audio visuals or the building automation systems, the wireless networks, electronic safety and security. Then you have data centers, healthcare, residential, project management. These would be the non-core chapters. But to tell you very frankly, each chapter is important, and there is nothing like a chapter has a finite set of questions. I mean by that is that there is no way or no law in the exam. That means chapter 1 will have maybe 5 questions. Chapter 3 will have 8 questions. There is no way. So you can have one examination set in which chapter 1 would have 3 questions and chapter 3 would have 9 questions. So you really don't know. But the total number of questions that would come from these 12 chapters would be 80%. That's what is only guaranteed, a sort of guarantee from BICSI. Okay, so this is all about the core of TDMM. Now why I told you this is to make you understand what's important to start, because you cannot just start reading the chapters from 1 to 11 or 1 to maybe 21. That's not the right approach to do it. So I know what's the intention of starting it, how do we start it. So for understanding this, I made this picture clearer to you, that it's going to be a 21 chapter manual, and 12 of those 21 chapters. Okay, a question from Srinivas is, does this certification, let me take it this. Okay, Srinivas, does this certification needs to have the basic knowledge of? Yes, absolutely, Srinivas. It needs to have certification, needs to have knowledge of electronics and communication, and even electrical to a sense. Electrical knowledge is important. So basic electrical knowledge on inductance, capacitance, basic circuit, what's a balanced circuit, what's a single phase, what's a 3-phase. So all this is important. It will make you a good basic electrical engineer on a good telecommunication engineer. You will require the 13th edition of TDMM for this. So that's the latest TDMM that is available as of now. That's the 13th edition of TDMM that would be required in this. Okay, so as we go ahead, so how do we start? Now let me take you to a step forward. Maybe somehow you would be now acquainted of what this is all about, what the exam is. Maybe it's very difficult in those 60 minutes or 90 minutes to do it, but then we'll try to take a brief of what all thing is all about. Okay, so how do we start? Now this is everything that is there in the presentation is nothing from BICSI. This is something which comes from my experience majorly, my training, my consultation experience, and my experience of being an RCD the last more than 14 years. So don't take this as a BICSI US presentation, because such kind of a presentation has never been given from BICSI. And I feel such kind of presentation has never been given by BICSI for RCD anywhere in the world. So we have done many things which are unique to the Indian scenario. So we should be proud of it. And many of those, I think all of those were not jugards. So this is one of these new initiatives that we have taken in making people understand how the real approach has to be. Okay, so how do we start from? Where is that 1, 2, 3? What should be the start? So the first start, the number one start should be, you have to be the member. Membership is important. Try to check, try to go for the pre-qualification. Pre-qualify yourself, do a pre-qualification and try to pre-qualify yourself. And then once you have this TDMM, this 1, 2, 3 is after you have this TDMM. So the TDMM is in front of you. You are on the go to read that TDMM, and this is the 1, 2, 3 when you have this TDMM with you. Now what's important is that I'll just give you a small brief of how this particular training program will go all about. The training program will be a program in nearly 3 parts. Once the candidates are selected for this training, we would have an acquaintance kind of a webinar as we are having it right now for maybe 2 hours. Where we'll discuss things again more in detail of how we should be starting all these, and then after a finite amount of time, that is around 3 weeks to 4 weeks, we'll conduct a first training. The first training that would be conducted would be a training on the design foundations. Now what this training would be is that it would take in around a majority of the core chapters, the foundational training of the core chapters. So if you have to be there for that particular training, that 2-day training on the foundational thing, you need to know about it. You cannot just come to the class and say, I'll first come to the class and then study the TDMM. That's not going to happen. Okay, Alkesh has put a question, how many questions we have in the exam? He's already in the exam. So, you have 120 questions in the exam, Alkesh, and you will have 3 hours to answer that 120 questions. Yes, the soft copy of the TDMM still is confined to one machine only, Milind, but you can take 2 prints from that soft copy, and after 2 prints the print action is disabled, and when you print it you have to print the complete copy. If you print only the chapters, then it is counted as one print. So if you only print one chapter on one day, it's a single print. In only 2 chapters your print will be disabled. So always be careful in that. Yes, but then it is confined to a single machine. Okay, so coming back, when you come for the basic training, the foundational training, the participants should always be reading the core chapters, that is number 1 to 8 and 15. Now what these chapters are, these are chapters on electrical, that is basic principles of transmission, electromagnetic compatibility, about spaces, your backbone systems, horizontal systems, ITS cables, fire stopping, bonding and grounding, and data networking. So these chapters need to be read first. You have to do a self-reading at least once of these chapters before you come for the exam come for the training. I'm sorry, the 2-day training. For the training to be really effective, I don't mean to say you are not allowed to come for the training, but then we all are looking from an angle, or we are all as volunteers of BICSI are trying to put this effort so that more and more people approach the examination and are happy in giving the examination, and are happy, and we are happy in getting more people certified for the examination. The passing percentage for the examination is 25%. So don't get disheartened, because the last training that we did in 2008 in India, the passing percentage in India was 66%. So it really doesn't matter, what this percentage is all about. But then the passing percentage has nothing to do with what is the passing percentage in internationally. What's important is what is the will that we have. And if there is a particular will, I don't see passing percentage even to be 100%. It's very possible. It depends on what kind of approach that we have towards the exam. Prasanna is asking a question: can it be upgraded from 12 to 13 version? No, it can't. So you will have to buy a new version, Prasanna, the 13 version. But then you can borrow it from somebody. That's very possible. You can somebody, even if somebody has it and he's sharing with you, it's perfectly fine. So it's not necessary, it's not compulsory that if you are applying for an RCD exam, that BICSI tells you that you need to buy this manual. If somebody can share the manual with you, I'm more than happy. You can share it with somebody, so you can really try to reduce your expenses, the training expenses which would be there. One soft copy can't be installed on 2 machines. A soft copy can be installed only on one machine. However, 2 prints, hard copy prints, could be taken from one soft copy. That's what I meant. Okay. So once the 2-day foundational training is completed and participants have come with a basic intentional reading of all these chapters which I have stated in the slide, then what remains is, again you go back. We again give you a 3-week, I don't say it is a holiday, but I say a 3-week window where you again do a self-reading of the remaining core and non-core chapters that have remained, because you would have completed nearly 9 chapters of those 21. But then you would have completed nearly 50% of the manual by now. Okay, and then you complete the remaining 50%, and then you revise even the earlier chapters that you would have done. And it's very easy. Let me tell you that even when I gave the examination in 2000, the size of the manual was more thicker than it is today. So they are trying to make it thinner. And the time is, if you're really putting in your time, the time it takes to read the manual in one go, that is 2 hours to 3 hours daily. If you are doing it for around 2 months, it's very easy to complete the manual. So it's not difficult. It's not difficult to be completed. It's quite easy to be approached and be completed. Okay. So once you complete the revision of the earlier chapters, and then we have a 5-day training which is called as the DD102 training. It's a training of designing telecommunication distribution systems. Now what this training is all about, it's more of an hands-on training on design, where participants would be designing for themselves backbone systems, you would be designing for yourself horizontal systems, you would be designing for yourselves bonding and grounding, designing for yourself, a fire stopping system, data networking designs, electrical inductance designs. So it will be a more of a logical designing session of 5 days, which will help you cement your logical design reasoning ability. Okay, so once that thing is developed, it becomes more easy and more simpler to approach the examination, because the examination is a 120 question exam and 60 of those questions are case questions. What I mean by that is that they will present before you a case and give you a number of options whereby a number of them may be correct. Now it depends on how good you are at design reasoning abilities that you will come to the most correct answer. So there might be 2 answers which might be correct, and there would always be one which might be the most correct applicable for that given case. This is what makes the RCDD certification challenging. It's not a clear-cut mugging kind of an exam. People who go and just read and read and read very rarely, are successful in clearing the examination. Very simple and very straight and very bluntly that I put it. The more good your reasoning ability is, the more better chances you have in clearing the examination. And this is what the DD 102 does. So it's going to be a 5-day extensive session on the design. And it's not going to be only that. What we'll be doing during that is that at the end of the day, we would be trying to take as many questions as possible in trying to improve our reasoning ability and try to understand where do we stand. So there might be a number of chapters where you might be very strong in, and there might be a number of chapters where you might be, it might be a little challenging for you. Okay. Alkesh is going a bit very fast. He's ready. He's already into training. So, yes, Alkesh. The training is going to be in Mumbai. So, the 2-day ICT training as well as the 5-day DD 102 will be in moving. So, the inaugural scholarship training is going to be conducted in Mumbai at the moment. Okay. So, this is how the 5-day training would be completed. And voila. So, you have completed the 2-day training, you have already read the chapters. Then after going back from the foundations training, you have already completed the remaining reading, you have again revised it, you have come for the DD 102 exam, and then the DD 102 is done. Now are you ready to go? Yes, absolutely, you are confident, right? So whatever is required, whatever prerequisites are required, you have already cleared it. You are pre-qualified, you have taken the exam, you have read the manual twice. So there we go. But if you see the statistics of the exam, I am not trying to deviate from the main subject, because my job would be to get more and more people so that we get more participants. But then I'm just trying to build the cat over here, is that it's not so easy. Because if it would be so easy, then there would have been not less than, there would be not less than 100 RCDs today in India. Many people would have tried it, many people would have cleared it, but it's not so easy. Now why it isn't? You have a 25% passing percentage and a lesser passing percentage, even 25% of people who have passed in the first attempt. Let me tell you this. It's nothing of a shame that you don't clear an RCD in the first attempt. And in India, I have seen this feeling that people feel, let me not come for the training, let me not give the exam, because, if I fail, I hold this kind of, designation in the industry. What will people think about me? Nothing, absolutely nothing. You have the guts to go there and sit for an examination that speaks for yourself. I have seen in the US that people just come and sit for the examination, even if they are not clearing it, they sit again. What's wrong in that? You are there to learn, and that's you should be, what you should be really proud of. But then we would not want to fail. Okay, we would not want to score less in the examination. So what is it, if this question is asked again, that, are we really ready? Then maybe again after this question comes it, are we really ready for sure? Yeah, Prasanna, I'm coming to the scholarship part. Give me around 5 minutes more. I will be there. Okay, so now there might be a number of answers. Some of you may say yes, I'm ready for the exam. Somebody might be confident. Why can't, if it's always good after you complete the training within a week, if you sit for the exam, it's the best thing on earth because everything is very fresh. But that really depends on what kind of person you are, what kind of abilities that you have developed, what kind of effort that you have put, what's the will that's there. Everything is there. So what's important to be seen is that some of you maybe maybe with an yes. Some of you may say maybe let me read something more. I've not got that kind of confidence now. Some of you might really say no, I'm not prepared. I might need to put in some more time. So now for all of us who might have all these three answers, some of us yes, some of us maybe, or some of us no, let's revisit what we have discussed, what we have taken through. Let's revisit that. Most important and the prerequisite thing is that please be a member, get the membership, qualify yourself for the exam. Yes, we as BICSI India over here would help you in telling you or letting you know. For your information, we have a BICSI India coordinator, Mr. JD Jadhav. So he has been briefed about this, about what is required. So he knows what's required in all these particular requirements. So in qualifying you for this particular exam, consistent TDMM self-reading is important, and then what's more important is enjoying the experience. That's very essential. Unless you enjoy what you are doing, there's no point of getting into something. So you have to really enjoy what you are doing. If you do that, half of the war is won. So enjoy. If you are enjoying reading the TDMM, you have won half the battle. Okay, then reading the core chapters 1 to 8 and chapter number 15, that is 1 to 8 continuously, and then in between after that directly from 8 to 15, and then also reading 2 non-core chapters, that is 18 and 21, which are chapters on data centers and project management. And then we have the foundations training. That's a 2-day training where we'll try to see where do we all stand or what these chapters really mean. It would be really a session where we'll try to probe our knowledge. We'll try to understand where we are, so that it helps us in studying better. It helps us in understanding the subject better. After the foundations training is completed, we again go back. We do a self-reading of the remaining chapters. We again read the TDMM, and then we come back for the final DD102 5-day training. And once the training is completed, based on the confidence levels that you guys will have, you are more than free to revise, more than free to directly enroll for the online exam date of your choice. There is nothing like, you have to give the exam at a particular date, provided if you have some reservations on that. But then you can go ahead and put in the examination dates of your choice. Now, as we take this, I see all your names on the certificate over here. So maybe, next year before we have the Mumbai conference, we should be having your name over here and the RCDD mark on this. And I would be more proud than you, when I see this, because it really brings in a kind of a joy in me when I see more RCDs on my side. Okay, so that's it from me. This was a basic presentation, but now what I would like to take is just 10 minutes more of your time, that we'll open up the session for all. I'll just brief you of what we intend to do, how we intend to start. This particular presentation was to give you a brief on what the certification is, what the training is all about, or how we would like to approach this particular training, and so on and so forth. So the next 10 minutes are going to be very important, where I will try to really take you through or brief you on what or how this training or certification initiative will be rolled over by BICSI. Okay, so to qualify for the RCDD credential, you need to have at least 5 years of ICT design experience. That's very essential. So if you have to qualify for your RCD credential, at least 5 years of ICT experience is important. And after you have qualified with this 5-year experience, if you don't have, now there would be a question that, what happens if I don't have that kind of experience? A 2 years verifiable experience is also fine. But then what happens in that case? Then you should have equivalents of any approved education that you would have taken. Maybe you have done an MS in information technology, or you have done an MTech in maybe telecommunications. So BICSI might vet that particular education as your qualifying experience, but that completely depends on BICSI of how they would want to vet this particular thing for. So we have very little say in that. But then the safest way is that if you have 5 years of verifiable, qualified ICT design experience, it's not a sales and marketing experience, it's a design experience, yes, then you pass the first hurdle or the first challenge of qualification. Now what does design means? Design includes you are there, you are a major part or a major driver in developing the design plans in those ICT integration. That includes your site surveys, your user needs analysis, or creating work prints, specifying project specifications, creating RFPs, or coordinating your pre-project coordination work, technical work between your project engineers or the architects or the owner. So all these comes in as basic design experience. Now design does not include installation, does not include testing, does not include supervision. Okay, it might help as an add-on, but design means pure design, a 5 years pure design experience. Design does not include sales and marketing support. It does not include ICT teaching. Okay, what's important is that whenever you would send out documentary evidence to BICSI, they would see what's your design experience. That's very essential because you are a registered communications and distributions designer. That's very essential in the certification. The certification counts. Okay. Now, what will this RCDD training program initiative include? Now, let me be very open and very clear over here so that we don't keep any open ends when we are doing this. This particular initiative will include the 2 days of the foundations training that we will conduct in Mumbai. It will include the 5 days of DD 102 training that will be conducted. It will include all the necessary support with respect to application, with respect to enrollment procedures for the RCDD credential examination. Okay, so the 3 points, very clearly the inclusions will be the 2 trainings, the foundations as well as the design training, and it will include all the support with respect to application and enrollment. I don't mean by support by giving you a signature that you have designed. No, that is something that you will have to do. But then coordinating with you and helping you in all aspects of getting this thing done is an initiative that BICSI will take under close guidance and supervision from the BICSI India coordinator, Mr. J.D. Jadhav, who would be handling this. The trainings will happen in Mumbai. This is what the training program is all about. Now, this training program cost of the 2-day training and the 5-day training program, the total cost comes to around $3,000 US. That is around 1,75,000. 1,75,000 plus the service tax, that is 12.5% service tax. Now, that is what was the major challenge area that we thought was really hindering. And at every international committee meeting, we tried to put this point across to BICSI that it becomes difficult, because even when I did my RCDD, the price was nearly the same. Let me tell you this. Prices have not really increased. They might have increased by, $100. That's it, because inflation doesn't increase so high in the US. However, my salary for that when I became an RCD was nearly a 2 years of salary that I had sacrificed for taking the RCDD credential. Things are not so bad as today as they were 14 years back. But let me tell you, what I had was the will to go out there and do that certification. But then we would not want all of you to say, tell all of you, if I had this will, why can't you have this? Please go out there and spend. No. So what the intention is that what BICSI India wants to do here is that we intend to offer education scholarships, which would amount to 50% of the scholarship amount. That means the program cost, which I stated right now, would be at 90,000 instead of a 1,75,000 cost. The certification training cost, instead of being 175, would come to 90,000 rupees and would include all these trainings that I have specified. However, there are still some exclusions in this particular training cost, which I want you to be aware of. Now, what these exclusions are, let me put you into a clear perspective. These exclusions are: you have to be a BICSI member, so the membership has to be paid by you and it goes directly to BICSI. So you have to go online and pay this membership. It's a $85 of membership cost for being a BICSI member, plus a new membership fee of $10. For many of you who are members, you don't need to do that again. So if you are already a member, don't worry about it. That doesn't come in as a cost to you. You will have to pay an application fee, an exam application fee, which is not included in the training, which is $245 US. And you will have to pay an examination fee, which is $160 US. So in total, when you are applying for an RCD exam for the first time, you will have to pay around $405 US on the first go. And then maybe if you are not successful in the first attempt of the RCD exam, you will just have to pay $160 US. Because application fee needs to be paid when you don't succeed in the examination 3 times or in 1 year. Okay, so if you are not successful, then you in the next attempt you don't need to pay the application fee. You just need to pay an examination fee. But let's not go to that. Let's see to it that we clear it in the first attempt itself. And if you don't have the TDMM with you, the TDMM would cost you an additional $295. But then please feel free to share. We have a BICSI India library over here. We'll be more than happy that you come here, you read the manual, you can create groups within yourself. And if you are creating a study group, BICSI India would be more than happy to share the manual in the study group, where you can sit together in a particular place and study the manual. So, the manual cost and the membership cost is something that, you will have to look at from your way of doing things. But then the exam application cost of around $405 in the first attempt is something which is going to be, needs to be paid by the individual who is given, which is not included in the training cost. Okay. Now, I'll take this thing further and I'll give you some timelines. Alkesh has put up a question which says, what will be the time frame for this course from the day you start till a 5-day training? Yes, I'm coming to that, Alkesh. So, I'll give you the time frame that how we intend to start. Day 1 is where we have started. So from today, the start has happened. Applications to all the interested candidates who have attended the webinar today and who would also be, be in touch with us. I have also, I didn't start it at the moment. But then I have recorded, I'm recording this webinar. So maybe, we'll try to share this webinar with a number of people so that they can listen to it. And we will be, for people who are interested, please send out a mail to me. I will send you the application. So there is an RCDD application. I'll bring that application on the screen for the benefit of all. So let me bring that application. So this is the application where, okay, this is the application. Let me, okay, so this is where the application is. Okay, so this is the application, scholarship application form, which requires your personal details, your last degree, diploma details, any certifications that you would have done, any projects that you have involved. You specify what were your design abilities in what you had done. Okay, and this is where you try to, assess yourselves. You try to pre-qualify yourself. So there's a pre-qualification document over here. And then you sign that, whatever has been stated by you is true. And after this, the application form also contains, what is included in the training program, what's not included in the training program. And then whether you would still want to be, considered for this training, even if you are unable to, be in those list of people who are qualifying for the scholarship. So it's like that. It's like, maybe if you are not getting the scholarship, still would you want to be a part of this program in paying the full amount? This is what you would also have to state. Okay, if you are taking the BICSI India scholarship, what BICSI India would like is that you at least make one attempt to the RCDD examination on or before April 10th to be eligible for this. So you will have to sign and confirm that you will give the exam at least once. You will attempt the exam. Because everything that BICSI India does, we don't have any funds from anywhere. These are all internally accrued funds and volunteer efforts that we are all doing. So people who would be taking the scholarships, the Education Initiative Scholarship from BICSI India, we would like some kind of a step forward from your side also, where you would take in this particular scholarship. So you say, okay, if I take in this scholarship, yes, this is what I guarantee you that I'll do. So you agree to attempt the RCD exam on or before, this is where it's marked, on or before April 10, 2015, if I'm being eligible, and then you make a signature, and then I'll tell you how this process will go ahead. The applications will be sent out, they start being sent out from today, that is 15th of December, and they will be sent out till the 1st of Jan. That means, till the 1st of Jan, applications will be sent out to interested people, and they need to be filled and be given back latest by the 2nd of Jan. So maybe, if you are taking the application today and if you give it to us tomorrow also, we don't mind it. So the window of receiving applications closes on 2nd of January. So 2nd of January 2015, the start of new year, we close the window of accepting registrations for the training program that's scheduled in 2015. The applications received or registrations received will close. The final date is 2nd of Jan. Okay. The final date of even giving the applications for filling is 1st of Jan. So no applications will be given out after 1st of Jan. We have kept a scrutiny time. The window is 3rd to 9th of Jan, where experts from the BICSI India steering will sit together, where there is an eligibility matrix that has been created based on the assessment that is done by you yourself personally and by the experts in the industry. We will have a team of 3 to 5 individuals who would vet you after this vetting, or who would comment on this, and after a proper commenting procedure is done, if you see this form over here, it will be checked by a person, it will be approved by a person, and the approval will depend whether the scholarship has been approved to the individual or it isn't. And even if the scholarship hasn't been approved and the individual has stated that he would still like to go for the training, then he would be considered as a name for the training participant. Okay. Now, after this scrutiny is done till 9th of Jan, we will try to put in a date. That is 10th of Jan, the list of selected people for the BICSI RCD training, where we will be taking in only a maximum of 12 candidates for the training that is scheduled. We will not have even one more candidate than the 12th. That is for sure, because that's a requirement even from BICSI. So it will be only 12 candidates for the training. The list will be out on 10th of Jan, and the confirmed candidates will have to provide their confirmations and payments latest by 15th of Jan. In case there are candidates in the list who are selected and either they have not confirmed or there is a delay in payments, the waitlisted candidates from the list who are ready to put forward their step forwards will be considered, would be taken in, and the payment date, the final date, the payment date for those candidates will be 24th of Jan. So the process of finalization of candidates, the process of administration will complete latest by 24th of Jan, because this list needs to be sent out to BICSI for the necessary certificational requirements, for the necessary training requirements. Now after this is done, what we have is the training program that will have the foundations training and the DD 102 training. So the foundation training will happen on 6th and 7th of February 2015. So we'll have the foundations 2 days foundations training on 6th and 7th of Feb 2015, while the DD 102 5-day training will be conducted on 2nd to 6th of March, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2nd to 6th of March 2015. So you are more than free to work around with your clients at the end of your financial year also, while 6th and 7th Feb will be your foundations training. So you have nearly more than 3 weeks of time in between your foundations training as well as the DD 102 training. After you complete the DD 102 training, you are free to give the examination on the date and time that is convenient to you and with the dates that are available with the training center. So that's how the whole process would run. That's how we intend to take this thing forward. This was, this was just like, there was a big stone wall in front of us where we didn't have any options, because if something was happening, then the pricing, it was a major problem, because getting down the price was a major issue. But then the initiative has been taken internally from BICSI India using internal funds to fund an education initiative. What's really required is the will from you guys and from the industry professionals that you would be aware of to take this thing forward, make this successful, and see to it that the 2-figure mark of RCDs cross a 3-figure mark in the next 5 years or so, which will really make us, a kind of an industry which will be respected all over. I hope I have made myself absolutely clear in what was there. Maybe there might be some points which might have remained. So what I'll do right now, what I'll do right now is I'll keep this thing open right now for 5 to 10 minutes. You can send in your questions on the chat requirement where I would answer you directly, and then maybe we'll open it for on. Naren is asking a question that how many can get scholarship? All 12 can get scholarships. We don't mind. We are ready to spend. We are ready to internally spend for the professional community. But then you have to pre-qualify. Okay. So if there is a will to go ahead, you are taking that step forward. You are ready to give that amount of time, and you have the will to take that particular certification. Yes, we can run a batch of 12 where all 12 will be guys who would be there on scholarships. We don't mind. So, but the maximum number of people who would be getting will be 12. Okay, for getting the application form, you just send out a mail. What I'll do right now is that no need to send me a mail. Whoever had confirmed and whoever are there for this particular session, I'll send the application forms to all of you so that you can have a look at this application form and you can get back. What I would also suggest is that many a times if I am busy in something, it becomes very difficult for me to get back immediately, and I would not want you to lose out your time. So I would like to suggest, I'll just put on the chat platform, I'll put Mr. Jadhav's name and his number, so that you can directly get in touch with him. Mr. JD Jadhav has been there for a number of years with BICSI India, and he has been. I'll just pass on his number to all of you. Just give me a moment.
Hello.
Yeah, 93214-80147. Okay, this is.
Can I help? Can I help?
Yeah, you can speak, sir. You can speak.
93214-80147, and an alternate number is 9967554443.
Okay, certification validity, the RCDD certification validity is for 3 years, but however it starts from what you call, it starts from the time you are certified. That means if you get certified, you would be the luckier guys. Somebody who gets certified in, say, March of next year, 2015, your certification will be valid till December 2018. That means invariably, even if it is 3 years, that person would be certified for 3 years and nearly 8 months. Because what BICSI takes is a year from Jan. So the 2015 year will not be counted as a year. Even if he will be an RCDD, his validity will be extended until December 2018. So, you will be lucky in that particular sense. You don't need to resit for an examination. Again, you just have to pre-qualify with the continuing education credits, that is 45 credits that you require, and you at least need to attend one conference in the 3-year period. So generally, our India conferences are counted as half-day conference. So they, if you attend 2 India conferences in a 3-year period, you are more good than go on the conference requirements. However, the 45 education credits have to be taken. So one education credit is 1 hour of training. So if you are a person who is normally there for BICSI India conferences and training programs, your education credits will more or less, you will pre-qualify for this education credits. No, there are no question papers, Alkesh. I'm sorry on that. You don't get any question papers on BICSI, and don't ever try to go for that question paper kind of a requirement. It's very difficult to get questions of BICSI. There are a number of sets available on the net where they sell for ranging from $200 to $800, but I will prefer you not to go for that, because it really disorients you from the examination. You can have experiences from the existing people who cleared the exam in their last attempt in 2008, and you get experiences from them. I would not see anybody who would have benefited from this kind of question paper kind of a thing. Let's not. There is no sample pattern, but yes, what we will do in the training, for each chapter we will try to take some sample questions. They might not come as they are, but there is no sample pattern of an examination. No, the recent ICT training that we did in October is different from this. That was an ICT fundamentals training. This is an ICT design foundations training. So that training and this training is different. That will help you, because some part of that particular thing would come in as a requirement. But then that requirement of that training and exam is different from this. It might help you as a prerequisite. It might give you some extra golden points, I might say, in the BICSI vetting procedure. If you are an ICT fundamental certified professional, you might get some extra weightage when you are going for the RCD examination. Now, as you have put this question very rightly, let me elaborate on this. From 2015, candidates who would want to sit for the DD 102 exam would need to pass a 25 question assessment examination. So they are not even going to allow each and everybody to even sit for the DD 102 training. So BICSI is going to make things difficult for you. So they have still not, that particular exam, waiting exam has not come. So at this moment that does not become a prerequisite for us. But even if it comes, don't worry about it, because we'll prepare ourselves for it. And even if it comes in between, you can attempt that particular exam. It's a 25 question exam, and then you can pre-attempt your DD 102. So that doesn't hinder our chances of that particular training. That's how it is. Yeah, I'll provide you email ID of Mr. Jadhav. What I'll do is that Mr. Jadhav, if you are on the computer, could you just chat and send it all to all the participants? Yeah, please put it on the chat.
JDJ.
No, sir, it will be very difficult. It will be very difficult. Okay. What you do is that you put it on the chat and send it across to everybody. They will get the IDs with them. There's no point of sending it on. Okay, any other questions the group might have on this, or any other elaborations that are required to be put?
Okay. विनाथ सर.
या सर.
मला इथे कुठले पार्टिसिपंटचं लिस्ट येत नाही.
You can send your email ID and send it to all. It will automatically come, sir. There is no need to have the participant list for you. In the chat window, you can send it to all, and then list will automatically come across to you. It can happen.
Chat window.
There is a chat window on the right hand side corner. On the meeting that you have opened, there should be a chat window on the right hand side corner.
Okay. Yeah. I'm on a chat window.
So you just send out your email ID, just type on there and send it to all the audience.
Hello.
Yeah, you send it to all the audience, sir. You type on the chat window and send it to all.
I will have to type.
Yeah, you will have to type. I will send it to you on your behalf. Don't worry, sir. I'm sending it right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions that the group has on this, or any elaborations that are required? Yeah, Prasanna, give me a moment. I'll share you the alternate number also of Mr. Jadhav. Just give me a moment. Milind has put it in very nice words. Enlightening talk. Okay. Now, what do you want, Milind? Do you want me to send you the recording of this particular talk? What do you exactly want?
Yeah, Ninad, you made mention that you will record this. Because this PDF presentation itself is not very explanatory.
Okay.
There are many things hidden which are very, very relevant.
Okay.
So I do not know how you.
I have recorded this. So what I'll do, I'll check how good the recording has come, and then maybe I'll share the recording with you and the presentation also. So both of this will help you. Will that help?
Yeah, that is very useful.
Okay, okay, I'll do that.
Very useful, very useful.
Okay,
No,
I'll do that.
certainly yes, useful.
Okay, okay, I'll do that. Okay, so I think more and all this has been informative to you all. Let me know if anything else is required from my side, or Mr. Jadhav is there. Any help you required in any documentation as all from today, Mr. Jadhav would be taking care of it, and we look forward to your cooperation as always. Thank you guys. Thank you for attending. Thank you guys.